Right, found my other pin and got it in. Forgot to put the camera on. But that's the pin through anyways. Same on front of the cam plate, that is. Just get the my pin, if you can see that. My pliers on and turn. This is a bit awkward when it's not fastened out. And that's the pin basically through. But I'll just let it go through a bit more. I don't want too much sticking through the front. Because obviously I'm going to be having it sat that way while I press the bearings in. The cams, sorry. Right, I'll knock it off for now, we'll get set up and we'll press these cams in. Right, I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this so well. On the cams, you've got a mark, like a timing mark, one there, and if I can bring it in, I'm going to have a mess around with the focus, so bear with me. Right, I don't know if you can see it on there, that's your timing mark as well, and it's the same on the other cam. And when you set these up, basically put when you've got your chain, I'll just get this in and I'll try and refocus. Yeah, what you want to be looking at is get the two right, as that is now, them cams are timed. Now what we've got is that there's a line on there, there's a line on there, there's also two marks on the actual sprockets, and as long as they're facing each other, yeah, as long as they're facing each other, that's your cams timed. So you need to make sure they're proper timed up before you try and put your cams in. Right, I'll stop here for now and get you set up at the press again. Right, I've got the cam set up. Cam plate, sorry, set up in there in the press. I'm double checking my cam timing. Right, and what I've got underneath each bearing is a support tube. Now, as you've just seen there, the back cam plate cam just tries to drop in, and I'll set it off. Make sure it's all straight. Oh. Now, same with the cams as it is for a bearing. Just get it all so it's started. Right, and what you've got, that's my that's my two support tubes. Now they go, obviously they sit inside and support each. Now your cams will turn, but what you want to be doing is just checking for the timing marks again, which are there and there. So if I was to put I don't know if I've got one kicking about. If I was to put that bar across through the centre of each hole, them timing marks are perfectly in line, which means that your cams are timed properly to each other. Obviously when you come to fit the sprockets on, when it's in, you have to time this sprocket with this sprocket. Right, all I need to do now is get the this circlip goes on here, so I'll get that ratched out. But that's basically your cams in. So I'll stop you for now, I'll get set up. Right, got a new circlip. I've smeared it in engine assembly lube. You don't need to do that, but I have. So just put your fucking circlip pliers. Yeah, just put your new circlip. Just make sure it's in properly. And that it's not going anywhere. Right, the next thing I'll do, I'll flip it over. Make sure you can still see this. I'm going to sit it up on a couple of blocks. The only reason I'm putting it up on a couple of blocks is just to stop the cams, this cam lifting up, because what I'm going to do next is put the bearing retainer plate back on. So just line it up. Now these are Torx 20, and when you put them on you want to put a little dab of blue Loctite on. You don't need to smother it. And with your blue Loctite, well with any Loctite really, just be careful, you know, that you don't touch the chain with the Loctite that's on the screw. Because it isn't a right good lubricant. And just tighten them down. I think these are something stupid like 4 Newton meters or something like that. So I'll just get them nicely snugged down. And now that's done, what I'm going to do is pour some, make sure you can see this first. I'm going to put a bit of engine assembly lube. Get it to come out of the bottle. Into the bearings, and then just give them a spin. Just to let it get dispersed through the bearing housing, etc. The bearing housing through the bearing races either side of the rollers. Right, and all that's left to do with this is replace the washer on that. This is the plug that comes out of this end, out the top should I say, but I've got a new O-ring to go on there yet, so I'll leave that off for now. And what I'll probably do is when I get to the point where I'm fitting this in the bike and I've got the oil pump and everything fitted on, etc., I'll probably pour oil into there, into the hole in the top, and then put the plug in. So for now that's the cam plate done. I don't know if I mentioned the finished size on this on the on the pinion shaft on the new crank that I got. It was 0.850, so that's been rimmed and honed out to 0.8515, so there's a thou and a half of clearance in that, which is grand. So I've also bought a new oil pump for it, high pressure oil pump, but I'll show you that, discuss that more when we get to it. But for now that's it with the cam plate. So, oh no it isn't, I'll tell you what. Earlier I was on about this spacer here that goes on here, right inside in, sits in there. I was on about that came with the kit for this cam. So you get your bearing, you got your inner race, thrust washer and an O-ring. You don't get that spacer, that's the spacer that came off this thing to start with. Yeah, what the kit you get when you buy a new bearing for your rear cam is you get your bearing which pushes into your case, you get your inner race, thrust washer and a new O-ring that goes on the cam. And so as I say, that spacer is the original spacer that came off this bike to start with. So just so if you buy a bearing kit and you don't get a spacer with it, you don't freak out. Right, that's it for now, I'll come back.